What's happening, everybody? Josh here from Spawn Fly Fish, and today we got a fun one for you. And we are going to start out much like how Pete has done this previously with a Spawn Polliwog tail, and we are going to be adding something to this tail. So we're going to line this up, and in the vise we have the HMH tube fly adapter. All we did is turn around this shaft so that we can slip off the tail after we adhere some other materials to it. Alright, so we're going to wrap that on here. Just a couple wraps. Build up a little thread base there. Good to go. Trim off that tag end. And what we are going to be adding today is some Goose Biots. So we'll take 2 here. And this fly is really going to start coming to life here shortly after we do this. It's going to look really good in the vise and really good to the fish. So we don't need these to stick out a crazy amount, but we do want to make sure that they are going to be visible. So wrapping across one another here, we're going to make an X. And I will rotate the vise here momentarily so that you can really see what we're doing. Hopefully you can see that. Looks pretty good. Alrighty. I'm going to throw in a whip finish here. Trim off the tag end. And at this point, we are also going to trim off the tag ends of the Goose Biots. So just snip. And snip. And there we have it here. We got a tail with some Goose Biots heading off of it. So the next things we're going to do here is we're going to take some Zap-A-Gap. We're going to make sure we get a little bit of it on here. This is really going to bond these two materials together. Try not to get any of it on the shaft of the tube fly adapter. But we do want a healthy amount on there. This tail's inevitably going to get chewed on. Alrighty. So we're going to give this a second, and be sure to give it a second, because this will stick to your hands and then you'll get it on the Polliwog tail, and that's just not what we want to do. So in the meantime, we are going to take an Ahrex FW550 number 4, and we are going to take one of our Spawn 6mm slotted football beads, and we're just going to put that on here and get this ready until we make this transition. So at this point we can take it off and just put your fingers right there and just slide up, and that's what you'll be left with. Really, really cool little tail profile here. And that is one of the coolest aspects about these Polliwog tails, is their size. So we are using these for a big old nymph, as you can see at this point. It's beginning to come to life. Alright, so we got the Ahrex FW550 size 4 in the vise here. We're going to throw some lead-free wire wraps behind the bead just to secure it. And the rest of this fly, pretty simple. You know me and my simple flies. The hardest part is in the rear view mirror here. So, got that football bead secure. Now that we have the football bead secure, trim off that tag end and get everything the way we want it. Looks pretty good. Definitely not going anywhere. Bring our thread back to just behind the curve. This next step, we're going to rotate our vise. We're going to tie in that tail. So we don't need it really big, so we're not going to use the whole tail here. So what we're going to do here is just fit it about like so. I'm going to trim it. You can just tie it on and then cut it, but I'm going to cut it and then tie it on here. Sweet. As you can see, tail still looks good. And we are going to start making steps to the next part about this. So we're going to take some UTC wire in medium, rehook that. We're going to tie that down. And then we're going to work our way to the front here. We got some Arizona Sparkle Nymph dub here in olive. And as you will see, this is going to pair very nicely, not only with our football bead, but also with our olive spawn Polliwog tails. So we're just going to dub our thread here. We're using a Danville waxed. We're going to start making some wraps back. Doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to go over this a couple times. This is pretty similar. We have a stonefly that we tie here in the shop. This is very, very similar to that. If you've seen that video, this will look very familiar to you. And you can do that same pattern with the spawn Polliwog tail. And it does look very cool. I tied a few up recently. I don't have one in front of us though. Alrighty, and then we're going to work our way back forward here. And this is pretty much it. You know, it's a very simple fly. The movement's going to come from the tail and the jig hook with paired with our football bead. The coloration's perfect. We're going to secure this dubbing and brush it out. But overall, this is a very, very simple bug. And it is as buggy as they get. So we want to taper this a bit so that it gets wider in profile. So we're just going to add a little bit more here to the front of this. And then we will be good to go. I would say this is another standard, simple pattern that you should definitely bring into your arsenal. We're wrapping the UTC wire. If I can wrap it. There we go. Trim that off here. You can add rubber legs to this as well. I'm not going to. But you can. Alrighty here. I'm going to throw in a whip finish here just to secure it. And then I am going to take one of the very fancy dubbing tools here, and we're going to brush this out. Make sure you get them every which way. Really get those trout fibers out. And as you can see, like, these simple patterns are platforms for variation and customization. So like, you could take this very, very simple looking fly here and cater it for so many different directions, adding a material here, taking a material away there, to really fit what you're trying to accomplish. And it's a lot of fun to do that. And these basic patterns really allow for that. And I think this tail is going to kick like crazy. And I cannot wait for more of you guys to get your hands on these. Especially, it's always fun that this size profile allows us to do things like this, like adding a fin, adding marabou, adding goose biots. So many different ways you can go. So the last thing here I'm going to do, I already whip finish. I'm just going to take a little more Zap-A-Gap here and finish off this fly. And then I will be ready to get after it. Sweet. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please be sure to hit like and subscribe. And if you tie this up and you add something, be sure to tag us. We'd love to see where you take this, because there's many different levels to taking this, and we cannot wait to see what you guys come up with. Thank you very much, and have a great day.